Hey everyone, happy Friday evening. Meteorologist Zach Gilday, along with myself here on a Friday. You've been holding down the fort all night, but this is something
Yeah.
obviously we talked about for several days. I know it's Friday night. There might not be a lot of people that are on this because, let's face it, a lot of our station is at a Christmas party right now.
Yep. It's
And
true.
we've got to monitor the radar because things are looking interesting. Yesterday, it didn't look like storms would develop, but what did you see throughout the day, the trends, Zach?
Well, I saw latest model trends have been showing the models producing some storms later on this evening. So we did see clearing earlier during the day in the River Valley. So
And Shayla even mentions that every time I saw peaks of sun, I got excited, hoping it would help the storm. Yeah. As
yeah.
far as if you want storms, that's definitely what you want. Peaks of sunshine. There were a lot of them in the River
Oh
Valley.
yeah, for sure. It was a very mild, breezy day, and the moisture returned. We even saw dew points near 60 for some areas.
Yeah. So what's the deal? Why aren't we seeing storms right now?
But right now we're caps, but that looks to be potentially changing.
Yeah. So capped, what that means is you have a warm layer of air that's aloft, and air will rise as long as it's warmer than its surrounding environment. But the problem is that when it's rising and it hits even warmer air, that will prevent it from rising. So if
Yeah.
you're in a hot air balloon and your air is warmer than your surrounding air, then you're not going to, or if your air inside is colder than the surrounding air, then you're going to sink. So
Exactly.
that's going to make it stable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Evan says he thinks the cap will be too strong to develop many storms. I agree with that, many
Yeah.
storms, but I don't think zero storms take place. Let's get to it. We've only got a limited time because we got a 7 o'clock newscast. But Zach, so first of all, here is the latest severe weather threat. It's a level 1. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but this is one of those environments that's rapidly changing.
Yeah.
And what we mean by that is these storms, if they do go up, and I do think there will be a storm or two, what timing is still uncertain. But you can see that we've got on here on the screen 8 o'clock in the evening until about midnight. Now, the party started at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. for us, but you had your 6 o'clock show, you have a 7 o'clock show. And honestly, if the storms do go up, we gotta be in place
Oh yeah.
before they even start to develop. Northwest Arkansas, I think, does see a little line of storms coming through. What do you think?
I think so too.
Yeah. Now, here's some of the things that we can look at. So, first of all, click on that image right there that Stephen Piltz has, and we could kind of show this. So, I'm going to show you some behind the scenes stuff, some really cool stuff that the National Weather Service out of Tulsa is doing. They have a new thing that they're doing for drones. This right here is essentially, you could see those little dots on the screen. Those are thunderstorms that the model is predicting will develop. So let me zoom out a little bit more here. And so you get to see, whoa, there you go. Now you get to see that. Those are thunderstorms that could be developing. And what you're looking at here is a bunch of information. This is Northwest Arkansas, and then this is the River Valley. And all the way up and down the line, we have storm potential. Let's look at some of the latest here for some of the modeling, okay, the computer modeling. So, Zach, we're going to take you through your show. First of all, here's what we've got for the surface map, and I imagine this is updated. But that front's coming through. A cold front has enough lift where storms can develop.
Yeah.
And what about the upper level energy? Where's the upper level support? Well, the upper level support is coming in. There's a look at the cloud cover that cleared out a little bit. You can see that clearing. Yeah, we have just thin high clouds, and you can see how fast they're moving as well. Here's a look at the tornado risk. Remember, yesterday there was 0% according to Storm Prediction Center, or should I say less than 2%. Now they've added that 2% for the day one. That does include Logan and Scott County and southeastern LeFlore County. And remember, these colors, what they were just kind of yellows. Now we got oranges that are surging all the way north. Well, it kind of dies out, but the River Valley is undergone, even some pinks in southeastern LeFlore County, where you're starting to get into a higher level of what we call EHI, Energy Helicity Index.
Very quick window, but the ingredients look to be there for some rotating storms.
Yeah.
So even if you're outside of that green shade for that tornado 2%, still chance for some rotating storms.
And here's a look at the HRRR has been kind of all over the place. Earlier it had storms. Now it doesn't. Is this the extended one? That's the newest one. Here's the extended that was updated earlier. And so let's see what it does. So here's that window. This had a lot more storm development. So there's 8, there's 9. And look, that could be a supercell right there coming through LaFleur County. And it doesn't take long. But you're going to see that moving eastward pretty quick into Scott County and Logan County. Our Mount Magazine cameras locked and loaded, ready to go. That's going to be an amazing view from there if it's not clouded over. But notice just not a lot of storm activity in Northwest Arkansas. So will Northwest Arkansas see storms? I think we see some elevated storms. I still don't think the tornado potential is here in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, I think it's mainly south of Interstate 40.
Yeah, south of I-40. Evan says Cape Valley is as far north as Joplin that are up to 1,000, mostly unstable Cape. Let me show you some other stuff here. I'm gonna give you an example of what we kind of look at behind the scenes. Unless I closed it out already. Let's see here. Let me bring that up. There we go. All right, so this is some of the stuff behind the scenes. So this is the SPC mesoanalysis. This is the 0 to 1 kilometer storm relativisticity. Those levels are very concerning. And that is right in the River Valley, all the way up into Sequoyah County and southern Crawford County. Now, over time, you can see that moving east pretty quick. However, if storms develop, which is a possibility, that could get pretty interesting. If we look at the supercell composite, that's also increased dramatically. This is what it was. Now that environment is rapidly changing as the upper level support comes overhead, and there will be a window of opportunity for storms. Timing is still questionable. What about the significant tornado parameter? That also is bumping up to a 2 or a 3. And it's interesting because you looked at any of the ensembles, and they really didn't show the SIG-TOR parameter was going to get over 1. But here's an example of this system, Zach, what you've been mentioning all along, maybe overperforming if storms develop. And what have you been saying the whole time?
I've been saying, last night we were looking at the models, we didn't see anything.
Yeah.
It was the models showed really no storms forming. And the latest model trends beginning this morning and during the afternoon, they really kind of ramped up the storm potential.
I think so. I think they ramped up in a major way. So we'll go back to this full screen real quick. And so there's a look at the shear. I mean, the low level Cape 0 to wow, look at that. 0 to 1 kilometer Cape or 0 to 3 kilometer Cape is 150. Zach.
So, yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And look, that's right where storms develop. And it gets up to 175. This is a ticking time bomb right here in terms of severe weather potential. Now look at this. You've got what's called diffluence in the 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear. And if we look at some other things, let's look at the shear vector. Holy smokes, 40 knots.
Yeah, anything over 30.
Anything over 30. And not only that, but look at the way it's oriented. Perpendicular to the line. This has tornado potential written all over it.
Look at southern Arkansas, like near 50.
I know, 50 knots. That is a tremendous amount of shear.
Yeah. So if a storm forms, it's going to turn severe quickly, potentially.
Yeah. And here's another thing, too. Let's look at the thermodynamics. The surface-based Cape has made it all the way into southwest Missouri.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much surface-based Cape to produce tornado potential when you have that much shear. Look at the 0 to 500 kilometer shear. 300?
It's a lot.
This is a strong system, and it's got a lot of shear, so we cannot let our guard down. How about the violent tornado parameter? That's also getting up there. That you don't normally see. Now, here's what we're watching is if you look at the Vortmax, everything's quiet now, but here comes that energy. Now, will this is the question. It's a small piece of energy, but it is potential energy that could cause lift that will form storms. If we look at the moisture convergence along it, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And so I think storms are kind of imminent to be honest with you. And we got those westerlies. This is just interesting. I wonder if they go slight risk on the update. Looking at these parameters. The only thing though is that just went off. So let me take that off here. So yeah, to sum it up, you saw the parameters, you saw looking at us stuff. We were kind of geeking out a little bit. But the bottom line is that if storms develop, they're going to go pretty crazy really fast, in my opinion. Looking at those type of parameters, that screams tornado potential.
Yeah,
it really does. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if storms do develop, there's a tornado watch that gets issued.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a tornado watch. Yeah. You can put the lights up, Perry. We're all good. We're about to get ready to do that 7:00 newscast. Rudy is also under the gun, Taylor, but it all depends on where the storms develop. So I want to come back to this real quick. So this is the timing of it. Now, what about the rain later on in the evening and into the day on Saturday? What's going on with that?
The latest model trends had that kind of clearing out.
Clearing out.
But with the energy coming in, I think we could see some lingering showers during the morning, and during the afternoon we should dry out. But cloud cover looks to be lingering throughout the afternoon.
Boy, if nothing develops, we dodged a bullet, man.
I know.
We dodged a major bullet. There's just too much potential for me to be anywhere but here.
Yeah.
With this type of environment. I know it's a Friday. I know there's nothing happening right now. I know it's a beautiful night, but these are the type of systems that really can get you if you're not prepared. Logan County, Jennifer, you need to be watching very closely.
Especially Logan County.
Logan County, Scott County, those areas are going to be pretty interesting. So, all right. Well, here's the deal. Do you have a first weather?
Yeah.
At 7? All right. So here's the deal. I'll let you take over on that, and then I'll bring up your first weather on this broadcast on this Facebook Live, and then we'll shut it down. Since he's got a first forecast, we'll bring that out. But I don't even know if there will be a tornado watch, but looking at all those conditions, 0 to 3 kilometer Cape over 100, 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear vector, we're talking 30 knots, easily exceeding that, which is sufficient. Perpendicular storm lines. Yeah. So the line is going to be perpendicular to that 0 to 3 kilometer line normal bulk shear. And right now, radar is totally quiet, but we're watching, we're waiting, and we're seeing what's happening. So what's probably going to happen is when we get closer to initiation here soon, and you can see there's starting to be some returns. Now, another thing we can look at, Zach, is we can look at infrared. Infrared will help us understand if there's actually some rising motion that's occurring.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, we're going to get ready to take Zach's forecast here soon at the top of the show. So again, we're having a 7:00 newscast on KXNW, and it's going to be a Baja Blast night, but it's going to be a quick Baja Blast.
Gotta check it fast.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about drinking that at 2, 3 in the morning. I think these storms will be gone out of here by then. I understand, but I think that this whole system might be underpredicted by the models. I really do. Looking at some of those mesoscale parameters. But then again, you got to have a storm. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
In the Northwest Arkansas community, this is KNWA News at 7 on KXNW.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight at 7. I'm Perry Elliott Durrani, and we want to update you on a system that's moving into our area and bringing with it potential for severe weather. Our meteorologist, Zach Gilday, is monitoring the situation live. Zach, what should people know at this hour?
Hey, Perry, yeah, well, if you step outside right now, it feels nice, almost feels like spring, and nice and mild, a bit breezy, and the moisture did return. So almost feels like spring this evening. Seeing a little development to our north. Right now, our forecast area is looking quiet, but as we go throughout the night, we are expecting the potential for some storms to form. A big low pressure area with a strong cold front off to our west that will be quickly moving in. And taking a closer look right now, again, it is quiet, but that might change quickly. We are under a level 1 marginal risk of severe storms, with the main timing threat being around 8 p.m. this evening to around midnight tonight. And highlighting this risk, there is a non-zero tornado threat. So even if you're outside of that green, there is still the potential for some rotating storms. So that's because the ingredients will be in place. So this is the Energy Helicity Index, a measure of the instability along with the spin in the atmosphere. These are some pretty high values, peaking around 7 p.m. to around 10 p.m. So Perry, the ingredients for severe weather are definitely there. The question is, will storms form? And if they do, they could turn severe quickly.
Okay, we'll keep following your updates this evening. In the meantime, we do have some breaking news tonight. The University of Arkansas says the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity will be suspended through 2024 at minimum. According to a letter from the school, the university's investigation into the fraternity did find that members of the group committed hazing. Pi Kappa Alpha, also known as Pike on campus, was suspended in November after video surfaced that appeared to show members of the group hitting initiates with a wooden paddle. As part of the suspension, students.
So we're in the middle of the newscast. News desk is just right to my right. You
Friday,
can see Barry
giving them
right
a
there.
week to complete the process during the finals. They won't be allowed to return to the house through spring of 2025. The fraternity itself won't be eligible for reinstatement.
Did you see that 2%
until December
expanded?
13th,
I saw it.
2024.
Expanded
In a
a lot.
KNWA News update, the Sebastian County prosecutor is identifying the teenager suspected of shooting
Tonight,
2
quiet
other teens
warm. Yep.
earlier this week. 15-year-old Connor Castillo
Still
is facing
marginal.
charges of first
Yeah,
degree
still
murder
marginal,
tonight,
but it
first
did
degree
increase
battery.
in size.
Police say that
Did you
Castillo
see that? I
shot
had the old
another
one.
15-year-old
No, you had the new one.
injured the 12-year-old on
Was it?
Wednesday.
It was the new one,
This
yeah.
happened in the 1400 block of North 36th Street.
Okay.
Where documents say that Castillo
So
pulled
go
out a
back to
gun
the
and began
SPC day
firing
one.
during the fight and ran away after the shooting. He was later found and arrested at a motel on Towson
So
Avenue.
there's the day
His
one
first court
risk.
appearance is set for Wednesday. Do you have an update on
We're
a
only an
candle
hour
recall
away from
alert?
potential
Earlier
development.
this week, the CDC
Threats
now
large
says
hail, but it is a
that
non-zero
one
tornado
of at
threat.
least
I
230
honestly think that
people
tornado threat
around
is
the
just
country
not non-zero.
sick
It's
from
a little
salmonella.
higher.
At least 3 people
This
died.
could be a non-zero tornado threat turning into a tornado watch.
Consuming certain
Yeah.
products. The list of recalled products does not mention brands.
Yeah.
Think we should change it?
What?
It does
To
mention
low?
the brand Vineyard,
Yeah.
which is distributed in Oklahoma.
Yep, we're gonna
State
change
Senator
it.
Brian King is asking the governor to declare a state
All right, so
of
what
emergency.
happened is we're in the middle of a
Post-election
newscast,
is
so
closing.
we've got
The
someone
problem
in,
here, the
in
company
the
already
news
contracted
desk right now
farmers
reading
to
news.
raise
We're in the
livestock
7 o'clock
instead of
news. I just wanted to show
closure.
Zach. I am
Results
going
in
to
the
show his full
utilization
weather
of more than
forecast,
1 million chickens.
and we'll just keep
Says
streaming
there's
until
no
his weather
plan for
forecast.
two
Then we're gonna
chickens
close it down.
after they're killed.
But until
Assuming the
that,
state, or rather asking the state
just want to let you know we have severe storm
responsibility
potential.
for that closure.
Ingredients are increasing, becoming more favorable throughout the rest of the evening. The window of opportunity for severe weather is just hours away. So it's going to be right around 8 o'clock in the evening until about midnight. So that's what's going on, Rogue Rocks. And the reason we're watching this is because if you look at a lot of stuff, it's starting to crank up. Okay. We're in the middle of a pack right now, so I think Perry's microphone's off, correct? Okay. So Perry Elliott Arani is reading our 7 o'clock newscast on KXNW. We're in the middle of what we call a package, so it's just all basically video and sound, and now we're able to talk in the studio so the mics don't pick up. If you're just tuning in, we are continuing to do this Facebook Live until Zach's weather forecast. And the weather forecast is going to show that we have an increase in the size of the risk. It's gotten a lot larger.
Oh, yeah.
It's gotten a lot farther north.
Zoom out there.
And not only that, but the tornado 2% didn't clip Franklin or Sebastian County, and now it does.
It's gone up.
It's gone up and it's getting larger. And so that is a smaller area, obviously, out of Arkansas. But this is the interesting thing, is that this wasn't there at 13Z. It wasn't there at 6Z this morning. And it wasn't there at
Stand by, Dan.
11:30. Thank you. It wasn't there at 10:30 either. It was finally introduced, what, at 3?
Yeah.
And at 7, which is right now. What other risks do we have? Do we have wind and hail? I imagine we do. Nope. No wind.
and a hail risk. So a pretty large hail risk.
Yeah.
Last
and
night we told
expanded
you
over the
about
area.
a lot of Northwest Arkansas.
it's low.
Night of Rally and Prayers for Israel event coinciding with the beginning of Hanukkah celebration.
That's the truth.
Find that
The
story.
mystery wedge on
Next
the wheel.
rally is
Will
being
it be
held
storms or
on our website
bankrupt?
right now. Remember, that
You can
is
also compare it to a
NWA.
tennis match. It's tones.
Let's check in with
Storms,
national
no
news. Hunter
storms,
Biden
storms,
is now
no storms.
indicted
Yeah.
on 9 tax charges in
It's like watching
California.
a tennis
The new
match.
charges are in addition to the federal firearm charges he's facing. KNWA's Basil John.
All right, so we're into another package.
Yeah, you
What
bring that
does-
back, you're good.
All right, what is the HRRR show, the newest one?
Short range.
Yeah, because that continues to update, and it looks like it's a newer one. And so this is kind of a look at the timing.
It just pushed it back.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. All right. Because when
Originally, it
when
was
you
like
called me
8 o'clock.
earlier,
Yeah,
it was at like 3 p.m.
yeah.
The model showed storms forming at like 7, and now it's like 10. So the model's a little bit inconsistent with the timing.
Very inconsistent. And that's what's the whole thing has been inconsistent. But the parameters are also inconsistent too. Look at
Yeah.
that. This could be a sleeper system, Zach.
Yeah, it's got some storms lingering into the overnight.
This
Really?
could be a sleeper system. And what I mean by a sleeper is people think, oh, just hit the snooze button on this one. No big deal.
Yeah.
But then if a storm does develop in this type of environment, it could get pretty interesting. Let's look at the SIG Tor parameter
Yeah. It's a good idea.
for the HRRR. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Just a second. There it is. That's the extended one, but we'll show that, and then we'll show the latest one. So this is the SIG Tor parameter.
Stand by there.
All right. It's just it's almost going too fast. But right around 10,
Taking a look around
11,
Arkansas,
and it
check in
clears
with Hot
out.
Springs now, where it's opening day for Oaklawn's racing season. The racing casino has a new track announcer and a new paddock analyst who used to be a winning jockey herself. Now the casino's prize purse is going up from $50 million to $60 million this season. There are 66 race days in this season, which actually ends the same day as the Kentucky Derby. We spoke to a few people with money on the line today, including some first-timers.
All right, if you're just tuning in, we're waiting for Zach's newscast here at 7 o'clock. This is a new.
It's a 10 a.m.
All right, nothing updated.
Okay, there are 10 races today and 10 tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, everyone there at Oaklawn can get 2 corned beef sandwiches and a
Getting
soft
pretty
drink.
close.
All
We're getting pretty
Benton
close. We're
County
about
residents
3-4
are
minutes
petitioning
out.
to stop battery energy storage systems facilities from being built near their
Good
backyards.
development up there in
KNWA's
Missouri.
Kayla Cade tells us why.
Yeah, let's throw on the lightning out there. See if there's any lightning. Looks like we're trying to get capped there.
Super thin line.
Yeah, it will be. That's what it is. It's going to be a thin line.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very thin line. Let's take a look at the cap. All right, so we're going to go here. We're going to go into Cape, and there's the cap. Oh, look, cap's eroding on the latest one in the River Valley,
Yeah.
and that's nudging up. Now, check out these 850 winds. They are strong out of the southwest. Now, that's the only thing. Because they're more out of the southwest, that is warming aloft, and that might cause the storms to delay, just like what the HRRR is showing. This right here is the energy, boys. That a lot swinging in, man. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at the vertical velocities, and they're starting to crank up there, right at the point where that instability axis is. And there's our front. We actually have a warm front.
Yeah.
No wonder the helicity is so strong.
Triple point.
Yeah. And look, there's that moisture convergence.
Wait, was that dry line way up here?
Yeah. No, that's the dry line way up there.
Wow.
That's the warm front. So the low is all the way up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way farther north. So there's the low. All right.
Further north the low is, the better the moisture return.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not showing any of that. Stand by. Let me show that again. This is what we've been looking at. I'm so sorry. This is what we've been looking at. Okay, so this is, first of all, we'll go through all of this. the IR. You can see
Our
rising
KOK
motion
report.
right here.
More local news you can view and buy art
Here's the
created
sea
by
level
University
pressure
of Arkansas
below.
students this weekend. The School of Art and
Here's the
Fulbright
dew
College
points.
Arts
Those are
and Sciences
surging north
hosted
right ahead of
its
the system.
Outdoor Winter Art Market. It's going to be held
Here's
at
the Cape.
studio in Design
There's
Center.
the instability
on
that's
Gill
cranking
Avenue,
up.
right off of
See that
NLA
white
Junior Boulevard. Times are
white
from 10 a.m. to
circle
5
right
p.m.
there? That's the
tomorrow
lack
and
of
Sunday and
cap.
Sunday.
So the
Student
cap is
whistles,
eroding.
things like
Look at the
ceramics,
helicity and
press,
shear. We're talking 50 knots. Moisture convergence is up there right along the front. So that boundary and the warm front also has rising motion. The precipitation, that's the thing that's tricky. The models don't
Also
have a handle on
tomorrow, Sleep
this.
City has an art market from
There's
10
the
to 3,
warm
and
front.
local color studio gallery has
Here's the
an exhibit
vorticity
from
that's coming in.
Now, day after day, our area's animal
Here's the
shelters
rising
are
motion.
full of furry friends.
And
you need a good
finally,
home.
the jet.
And that's why every Friday. we
And those are a
celebrate
lot of
all the ways to
westerlies,
show
Zach.
here. And this
Yeah.
week, we get to meet Lainey, a 1-year-old sweetheart from the Best Friends Animal Society in Benson.
Okay. We're just about done with this newscast. It's amazing how long an A block is when you're live and you can't talk very loud. So check this out. Yep, you are seeing the maps right now. I'm showing you them. Sorry, Brittany, I did not have it on the right one. So there's a look at the upper level Here's the deal. If you look at tornado threats and tornado events in Northwest Arkansas, you see long wave troughs just like this. This is a long wave trough. This is classic for severe weather potential. The only issue is that because the moisture is just returning, that's why maybe the storms are not developing with the models.
Yeah.
But that is something to watch for sure. And then look, there's the rising motion that's already beginning. So we haven't heard of the Storm Prediction Center being in conference with the Storm Prediction Center with the National Weather Service. If this was spring, it'd be a big deal because we'd be a lot warmer, we'd be a lot more humid. But this is still pretty humid,
Stand by.
even for severe. All right, stand by. We're going to get Zach on here. I'm going to switch the
Today is
audio.
distribution day for sharing of Benton County. Coming up, how many families were helped today and how Sharing and Caring manages all this work with just 4 people. It's really interesting. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Zach Gildy. He's got to preview that full forecast and the storm headed our way tonight, Zach.
Hey, Perry. Yeah, it's been a windy and mild day. Right now it's quiet, but that might be changing soon. There's a small window where severe storms look possible. Now it's kind of be a low coverage, high impact, potential high impact events. Again, the timing 8 p.m. this evening to around midnight. And highlighting the severe weather risk is there is a low end tornado chance. We're going to time all that out in the full weather coming up after the break.
KNWA News at 7 on KXNW with Chad Mira and meteorologist Zach Gilday.
The break. So right after the break, we'll do the forecast. We're going to shut it down until we're about maybe getting close to a tornado watch. That's when we'll pop it back up.
All
Any
right.
type of watch. After his weather forecast, we'll say goodbye for now. We'll launch the stream up again, unless something happens while we're in the middle of the weather forecast. But I still think we're a little ways away.
Kind of dying out up there.
Yeah, it just really
Moving
doesn't
away
have
from the radar.
it just doesn't have the support.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have lightning with it either.
Yeah.
What do you think the timing would be for Rudy, Zach? I'm thinking around 10 o'clock, 9, 10.
Looking at the latest models, yeah.
And it may
So-
not, here's the deal. It may not have a storm at all. There might not be a storm developing over Rudy.
Yeah.
I would be, first of all, impressed if no storms develop with this system coming through.
Yeah, me too.
I would be very
I think-
shocked.
And
If that
and if a
happens.
storm forms, it could go severe pretty quickly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So we definitely have to watch.
We'll go through all the parameters again later as we get closer to that tornado potential tonight. But you all good? I don't think Bella Vista gets much, to be honest with you. Honestly, hi, Rachel Fleming and Jennifer Roper. She's tagging someone. Am I going to put on the tornado tie? I've got it ready. And looking at these parameters, I don't think it's out of the question by any means.
Yep.
All right, everyone.
wish Zach luck. He's going to give his weather forecast, and then we will we'll see you later. All right. Stand by.
You just kick them in the head real hard. You were once the Mexican.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Zach Gilday.
Hope the Friday is going great so far. It sure was unseasonably warm, even a bit humid. That moisture did return with a breezy south wind, all ahead of a storm system moving in. Now, right now, the radar looking pretty quiet, a little bit of showers to our north, but our forecast area, not a whole lot going on, but this might change pretty quickly as we go throughout the evening hours. So check out today's highs. Most areas were well above average, even saw a few 70s. Fort Smith hit 70, much warmer to our south and west. And right now, here is a view in Fort Smith. Cloud cover starting to fill back in. We did see some clearing earlier during the day. That's why it was so warm. Right now, holding on to that mild feel, lower to mid 60s in most areas, seeing a few 50s as well. Storm system still off to our west, but it is quickly moving in with a strong cold front. Taking a closer look again, right now we are looking quiet, but this might change pretty soon as we go throughout the evening. We have a marginal risk, so a level 1. This means that isolated severe storms look possible. Again, the timing looks to be 8 p.m. this evening to around midnight, maybe just after midnight for this severe storm risk. And the main hazards, again, are large hail with a low-end tornado risk. So that is highlighting this hazard. There's a lot of ingredients for some potential spin. And we can see the tornado risk, this is the latest one. It has been increased right now. If you're along in South Interstate 40 and even areas north of that, there is still a non-zero tornado risk as we go throughout this evening into the early overnight. Large hail also going to be a factor for the whole forecast area as this line quickly moves in. Now, here is a value that we look at, the Energy Helicity Index, a measure of the instability and the spin in the atmosphere. Now, these values have been increased dramatically since last night. So this is pretty high. And when we see this, we are on high alert for some potential rotating storms. And this, again, the window of opportunity is going to be very quick. So around 8 p.m. to around midnight potentially for that. And then the ingredients leave. But until then, there will be a chance for those severe storms. Here is the latest HRRR model showing storms forming around 9-10 p.m. and then quickly racing out. But any storm that does form has the potential to become severe quickly. And again, a low-end tornado chance, especially in the River Valley. And this latest model kind of has storms lingering past midnight. So we're going to have to be on high alert as we go throughout the evening into the overnight hours. And then tomorrow might see some lingering rain during the morning because there's a whole lot of energy moving in. And then beyond that, the afternoon, it looks to stay cloudy. And the rain chances should end during the afternoon tomorrow, though. And here are those rain chances in northwest Arkansas, around 30% chance. In the River Valley, a slightly higher chance for those storms. The instability looks to be a bit higher in the River Valley. So 40% chance later on this evening into the overnight with those rain chances lingering tomorrow morning. So we're going to keep you updated as we go throughout this evening. Make sure to download our Your Weather Authority app. That's going to be big. We're going to be sending you updates on that if need be. And here is that 7-day. So highlighting the near term is those storms potentially to this evening into the overnight hours. And then beyond that, cloud cover slow to clear tomorrow. You can see Sunday going to be a chilly day behind this powerful system. And then Monday through Wednesday looking real nice. Might see another system by late week next week. But until then, Perry, we have to be on our toes because we could see some storms forming pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I know a lot of folks are probably going to be looking up at the sky tonight being like, what the heck? They were talking about this so much. I don't see anything. But it's just that possibility. That's the reason we have to warn people. It's going to be
one of those low coverage, potential high impact events.
Yeah, okay. Well, appreciate you keeping us updated on that, Zach, and we'll check in with you throughout the evening. on here in our sister stations, Fox 24, and of course KNWA. In the meantime, mayors from around the region went head-to-head today, all for a great cause. Find out which mayors went out and rang the bell for the Salvation Army. That's coming up to you in less than 3 minutes.
Good job, Zach. Yeah, solid show. So, anyways, we're going to shut this down. We're going to get ready for basically potential severe weather coverage, kind of do some behind the scenes things here, get my computer set up on the wall, make sure everything's set up and ready to go. Like I said, we may not even need this, but I think storms are going to develop, Zach.
Potential's there.
And we know the potential's there. Dawn has a good question. Is it setting up to be like New Year's Eve, a tornado hit Summers? I remember that. December 31st, 2010. Really, really bad tornado. So first of all, there was a lot more convection on that. Thunderstorms were everywhere the night before. In fact, Branson had tornadoes before midnight. However, the return of moisture as rapidly as it's doing right now and how the models underestimated it is something that's similar. The upper level trough axis was kind of similar, but the development of storms was a lot more. I mean, there were just storms everywhere. But the wind shear was similar too. I mean, 0 to 3 kilometer was around 600 meters square per second.
Those are high values.
But we were 0 to 1 kilometer at 300.
Yeah.
What is the 0 to 3 kilometer? I'll look at it here real fast. Yeah, 450, getting close to 500. And if we look at the 0 to 3 kilometer effective, yeah, you're looking at around 300 to 400. So it's up there. Not quite as impressive as that. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you. Hello, everyone. All right, so that's it. We're going to shut this down for a little while. When it says that they're going to be in a conference with SPC, potentially, it's all about as storms develop. Hopefully, we just dodged a bullet and nothing happens, and we were just preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, and nothing happened. That would be ideal.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see what happens. We'll see you guys later. The parameters are definitely impressive, but we'll be back again tonight. All right. Either way, we'll still be back and we'll let you know about it. Take care. Thanks for watching this Facebook Live update. Have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Good job, Zach.